Australia model of social media ban for under 16. Minister Nara Lokesh says children under that age need to be protected. Rahul Gandhi calls for another farmers' protest-like movement to oppose the G bill, mocks the new legislation which replaced Manrega, calling it the Gram-G bill. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav responds to Network 18 Global Exclusive, welcomed Donald Trump's remarks on Prime Minister Modi and the trade deal with India, says engagement between the two countries is good at multiple levels. S. Jaishankar meets envoys of EU nations, conveys a message from Delhi to all European leaders in Davos, says stronger India-EU ties will ensure that the world economy slips through reliable supply chains. Donald Trump unveils his Gaza Board of Peace in Davos. Pakistan Prime Minister in attendance repeats his claim of stopping India-Pakistan war. Iconic NASA astronaut speaks exclusively to CNN News 18 after calling time on her record-breaking career. Sunita Williams says it's great to be back in India, asks aspiring scientists to explore more. Bangladesh refuses to travel to India for the T20 World Cup, citing security concerns for its players. BCB Cricket Board chief blames ICC for taking this decision, slams the global cricketing body. Our top focus is a political controversy that's intensifying in Kerala in an election-bound state. CPIM has accused the Congress of maintaining a radical alliance. The controversy erupted after Jamaat-e-Islami State Secretary reportedly reiterated the organization's commitment to establishing an Islamic Republic, stating that they have not moved an inch away from this belief. Now, this contradicts earlier assertions that were made by Kerala Leader of Opposition V.D. Satishan, who had suggested that the group had moved away from its religious state ideology. The CPIM and the BJP are now challenging the Congress to reject this support from communal organizations. While the Congress maintains that it accepts votes from all groups and that there is no formal alliance, so to say, with the Jamaat-e-Islami and their political wing, the CPIM alleges that this radical tie-up exposes the ideological inconsistencies of the Congress. As the state approaches elections, the CPM and the BJP are now doubling down on the Congress-led UDF.
Jamaat-e-Islami is not a normal organization. It is an organization that is killing minorities in Bangladesh. It is destroying societies and communities all around the world. And it is a completely anti-secular, anti-democratic, radical organization. No political party today in the country has any business to try and do politics with an organization like Jamaat-e-Islami. And the only party that does it, because they have no other politics excepting appeasement, they have no idea for Kerala or Malayalis about development, so they go and depend on Jamaat-e-Islami for their votes and for their wins. And this is something that BJP and NDA will protect every Malayali.
Welfare Party is the political outfit of Jamaat-e-Islami, just like how BJP is the political party floated by RSS. So there is no difference between Welfare Party and the parent organization Jamaat-e-Islami. So it was Leader of Opposition, Mr. V.D. Satishan, who gave a conduct certificate to both Jamaat-e-Islami and Welfare Party that they have abandoned Islamic Republic, the idea of Islamic Republic. On the one hand, RSS is propagating the idea of Hindu Rashtra, and on the other hand, Jamaat-e-Islami is upholding the idea of an Islamic Republic. Both these communal forces are dividing our society.
Now, the Jamaat-e-Islami's Republic Nation post, that's something that has now triggered controversy. Now, what exactly did this particular leader put out on social media? Well, he says that First Islamic Republic was in Medina, describes it as a pluralistic nation. He then talks about how anybody who does not believe in that stance must study Islam and its ideology further, also asserting that no true believer can reject the Islamic Republic. The relevance of this particular post that was put out in an election-bound state is that he talks about Medina Republic being flourishing, especially when the Muslims were in minority. That's something that he is talking about in this particular post, and that has now armed both the BJP and the left against the Congress party, because the claims that are being made, even though there is no formal alliance of the Welfare Party and the Congress, The fact that the Congress has taken support on multiple occasions in the past with groups like the Welfare Party, this is something that now seems to be arming the opposition of or the political rivals of the Congress in the state of Kerala, especially as we head into election season. Neetu, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Neetu, as far as the Congress is concerned, they've always maintained that we welcome votes from wherever they come from, and it's not an ideology that we are sinking ourselves with. But that rings hollow today, isn't it? Especially with the kind of comments that are coming in from the Jamaat-e-Islami.
Yes, this statement by a leader of the Jamaat-e-Islami has really put the Congress in the dock, especially opposition leader V.D. Satishan, who had some months back said that was Jamaat-e-Islami's earlier stand and not now. So they are reiterating that no, they stand by this earlier stand itself. So that is something which the Congress will have to give answers to now. And for quite some months, we have been seeing that, led by none other than Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan itself, there has been an attack on Jamaat-e-Islami and the Congress for taking their support. Even when Priyanka Gandhi stood for the Wayanad bypolls, Chief Minister had made the statement that they are winning, taking the help of organizations like the Jamaat-e-Islami. 2 weeks back, senior CPIM leader and a former minister came out and said that if UDF comes to power, Jamaat-e-Islami will be handling the home department. So comments like this, attacks trained at the UDF and the Congress, especially opposition leader V.D. Satishan. Satishan has been talking against this, has been stating that, see, we are only taking the support of those who are offering us. There is no any kind of alliance or anything with them. But at the same time, Satishan used to say that when the left supported, or when left took support from Jamaat-e-Islami, they didn't have any problem. Only when they decided to support the Congress and the UDF, they have a problem. And he went on to attack the CPIM and the Chief Minister, saying that they are taking the same stand of the Sangh Parivar, which the Sangh Parivar is taking across the country by attacking a certain community. But all this, with the statement from the Jamaat-e leader now, there will be explanation that the Congress will have to do, especially in the run-up to the 2026 Assembly elections.
Right, Neetu, do stay on with us. It's both the BJP and the CPM that are doubling down on their attack on the Congress party, even though the Congress is trying to distance itself from this particular individual, this particular post that has been put out. But it's past precedents, the kind of alliances that they've had with individuals and with parties like these is something that seems to be putting the Congress in an uncomfortable position. Let's listen into some more reactions.
केरला में जमात-ए-इस्लामी के एक कार्यकर्ता, एक नेता ने इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक बनाना है भारत में, उसकी वकालत की। उसका खंडन करने के बदले कांग्रेस उसकी सफाई दे रही है। कांग्रेस इनके साथ अलायंस में है, इसीलिए ये अब संविधान करने वाली इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक और शरिया की वकालत कर रहे हैं। और आज लेफ्ट भी यूडीएफ को सवाल के घेरे में घेर रही है, पर लेफ्ट कोई बेटर नहीं है। वो भी वकालत करती है हमास की, ये करते जमात की। ये दोनों तुष्टीकरण के बड़े भाई और छोटे भाई, छोटे मियाँ और बड़े मियाँ हैं। दोनों वोट बैंक के पीछे पागल है और इसीलिए संविधान को ताक पर रखते हैं। तो इस्लामिक स्टेट बनाना है इनको भारत में, इस्लामिक रिपब्लिक बनाना है, और उसकी वकालत राहुल गांधी, सतीशन और प्रियंका वाड्रा कर रहे हैं।
Now, Neetu, this is definitely an election issue that both the left and the BJP are going to rake up going into the elections in the state. The Congress is trying to distance itself, but the fact that they have taken support from the Welfare Party in the past, or individuals like or organizations like the Jamaat-e-Islami, it's going to be difficult for them to distance themselves this time around, isn't it?
See, it's definitely put the Congress and the UDF in a tough situation in the state, especially ahead of the elections, when Jamaat-e-Islami state leader is actually reiterating this stand. But at the same time, they will be playing it very safe. It is an election season. They cannot afford to say that we don't want votes from any side. So that is not something which the Congress, in all possibility, is going to come out and say. And that is exactly what the CPIM is trying to do, because this time they have been noticing after the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, they have been noticing that when it comes to the minority votes which had stood by the LDF during the last assembly elections, they are not really with the LDF this time. So Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan is targeting his attack on that. They are also trying to put Congress in a tough spot across the state, not just in certain pockets, by stating that you are partnering up with people like this. And even when the Wayanad bypoll happened, Chief Minister himself has made this statement that you're winning with the support of Jamaat-e-Islami. And if you look at what has been going on with the CPM and their attacks in the past few weeks, this is only going to escalate further, because the Chief Minister, the ministers are all coming out. The former minister, A.K. Balan, had made that statement. So they have all come out and trying to attack the Jamaat-e-Islami, and thereby trying to tell sections within the community itself that it is not really the Congress that will stand by all. Congress is with these kind of people. Even the Chief Minister went on in one of the press conferences when he was asked about this Jamaat-e-Islami. He said that, see, we are against communalism of any form, whether it's minority communalism or majority communalism. Both are equally wrong, and that is what we are doing. He went on to say that when we are criticizing things done by the Sangh Parivar or the Hindutva agenda, we are not criticizing the Hindu community. Similarly, when we talk about Jamaat-e-Islami, we are not criticizing the Muslim community. So this is a stand that the Chief Minister is also taking. So this is what we will be seeing in the coming days in the run-up to the Assembly elections.
Right, Neetu, do keep a track of what transpires there in the run-up to those elections. But for the moment, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Shifting focus now to another poll-bound state, and that's of Tamil Nadu, where in a letter to DMK cadres, Chief Minister of the state, M.K. Stalin, has urged party members to participate in a statewide stir against the language policy. He has decided, or he has directed, in fact, his cadres to participate in statewide public meetings on the 25th of January, which is this weekend, observed as Language Martyrs Hero Memorial Day. He described the 2026 elections as continuation of the Aryan versus Dravidian ideological struggle, going on to say that language and its alleged imposition by the central government is something that the DMK needs to fight and needs to take to the people of Tamil Nadu in election season. Purnima, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Purnima, what more can you tell us about this letter and this directive that has come in from M.K. Stalin? We'll try and reconnect that line with my colleague Purnima, who's getting us more details. But elections are just around the corner in the state of Tamil Nadu. M.K. Stalin there in a renewed push against language imposition that the DMK has been fighting as far as the education policy goes, or other moves made by the central government, like changing the names of certain legislations, making them Hindi-centric. That's something that the DMK has been fighting the centre on. Now, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and the Chief of the party of the DMK going on to ask his cadre to stress on that particular issue in election season. Purnima, I believe, is now back with us. Yes, Purnima.
Well, ahead of the State Assembly polls, DMK President M.K. Stalin has written to his party cadres, and he's asked his party cadre to participate in the statewide language war meetings that is scheduled to take place on the 25th of January. And this, with an aim to defeat the BJP alliance in Tamil Nadu, is something that he has highlighted in the statement. He's also gone on to say that DMK and its alliance stands firm in the war zone, and reiterates that this is with social justice, communal harmony, and these are the ideologies that they believe in, and therefore the language war meetings will happen on the 25th of January. Remember, language once again is going to dominate the Tamil Nadu political arena as far as the 2026 elections are concerned.
Absolutely. That's an issue that the DMK is going to go hammer and tongs on against the BJP and the central government. Whether that resonates or not with the people, that's something that time will tell. But for the moment, Purnima, thank you so much. Shifting focus now to neighbouring Andhra Pradesh, where the government is considering a ban on social media use for children under the age of 16. This is inspired by Australia's recent restrictions that are aimed at protecting minors online. Speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, State IT Minister Nara Lokesh said that the state was closely studying Australia's approach and seeing if it can be implemented in Andhra Pradesh. In 2024, remember, Australia had announced plans to prohibit children under 16 from accessing social media platforms, citing growing concerns over mental health, online harm, cyberbullying and addictive algorithms. The move followed mounting evidence linking excessive social media use among children to anxiety, to depression and self-harm. Now, this proposed framework that Andhra Pradesh government seems to be looking at, social media companies would be legally responsible for enforcing these age restrictions through robust age verification mechanisms. If Andhra Pradesh does implement such a restriction, it will be the first state in the country in India to acknowledge the harm that's caused by the exposure of social media to minors and take action in that regard.
Children under a certain age are not emotionally mature to understand certain negative content that is floating around on social media. Hence, Andhra Pradesh is now studying the best global practices going on in different parts of the world. And we're also looking at Australia's under 16 social media law decision which just came out. We are looking at protecting children from all this negativity. So Telugu Desam Party stands by our Minister Lokesh Ji on these efforts to protect child safety.
My colleague PV Ramana now joins us, getting us more details on this. Ramana, the state government there is considering going the Australia way, but any details of how they plan to do this? I mean, this is a legislation that would only come into effect as far as the state goes and not nationally. Is there a blueprint? Is there a plan that the state government is looking at?
So as of now, there is no specific plan on that, but the IT minister and of course Nara Lokesh is also HRD minister for the state of Andhra Pradesh. He is proposing to ban social media access for the children below 16 years. In fact, he is also education minister, so that he wanted to implement some certain new things, and especially children addicting the social media and their mental health. It's affecting their mental health of the children, and as well as nowadays we can see some of the incidents which has happened in the state of Andhra Pradesh also the crimes involved by the minor children, so that he is feeling that it is because of the social media impact only. That's why they wanted to ban the entire things, and so that the people can, the students can study properly. They can concentrate on their studies and whatever the things they wanted to do. In fact, so but how they will do and what is the process for that? They have to get some clarity on that, because he was speaking in Davos. He mentioned these things, and of course, we got the information is also that he met some of the Australian delegates, so that he inquired about how they are implementing, what is the process, what is the legal aspects in that, and everything he is trying to study on that. And of course, it's in the primary stage. He is proposing that if it is materializes, definitely Andhra Pradesh will be the first state to implement this banning on social media. In fact, but I have to see how the preparation will be. Generally, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, generally students will not directly use the mobile phones. They will depend on their parents' mobile. So how they will ban that, how they will restrict that, how to see, and what will be the process for that. These things will get the clarity after going on the detailed detailed draft of the particular ban, whatever the enactment or whatever the order or what kind of it is, it will get some clarity on the based on that only. As of now,
Right.
definitely, people are welcome. Of course, TDP is welcoming that, and of course, the people from the even teaching fraternity also, we are getting the positive response on that. How to see how the government will implement, what will be the guidelines, will be involved in that.
Right, do keep a track of that. For the moment though, Ramana, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Is a governor versus state government clash routine now, especially in opposition ruled states? Well, after Tamil Nadu and Kerala, it's Karnataka that's witnessing a political showdown, and a fierce one at that, between the government and the governor. Karnataka Governor Thawarchand Gehlot today refused to address a joint session of the state legislature. He refused to read portions of the speech that was prepared by the state government that he deemed were critical of the centre over the G Ramji scheme. Following which, he staged a walkout from the assembly. There was complete ruckus and chaotic scenes played out as Congress MLAs flare up in anger. Congress MLA B.K. Hari Prasad even tried to block the governor from exiting the assembly. Both sides, both the BJP and the Congress, are now claiming that this is an insult to the assembly and to the governor's post. Listen in to those comments that have come in from both inside the assembly and outside.
Every new year, the governor has to address the joint session, and he has to read the speech prepared by the cabinet. That is constitutional. Today, instead of speaking the speech prepared by the cabinet, he spoke the speech prepared by himself. that against the constitution, provisions of the constitution, Indian constitution. It clearly violates Article 176 and 163 of the Indian constitution. Therefore, it is not going to be the speech of the governor. He has not discharged his duties as per the Indian constitution. He has not discharged his responsibilities as prescribed by the Indian constitution. Therefore, we are going to protest against the attitude of the speaker. We are examining to approach the Supreme Court or not.
What His Excellency Governor has done today is right. He has taken the right decision. He has done his duty. Whereas the ruling Congress government insulting governor is not correct. Ruling party MLA, MLCs trying to attack His Excellency is totally unconstitutional. So I demand Honorable Chief Minister Sabarimala should seek apology regarding the attitude of the ruling MLA and MLCs, and he should also take strict action. Speaker also should also look into the matter. He should take action against those MLA and MLCs who are trying to stop and who are trying to attack governor. Secondly, why this situation has arisen in Karnataka today?
Afreen, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more perspective on this. Afreen, we've heard the political reactions coming in both from the Congress and the BJP, but any response from the governor's office over the allegations that the state government has made that it is an insult to the assembly and to the people of the state that the governor walked out?
Well, Poonam, as of now, there has been no response from the governor's end, but chaos erupted inside the Karnataka legislative after Governor Thawarchand Gehlot left delivering a brief address of 2 lines, and the address that was written by him and not that was prepared by the Congress government. And after which we saw chaotic visuals inside when the governor was trying to leave. MLCs and MLAs from the ruling party tried to stop him. Now the BJP have said that this is an insult, and Chief Minister Sabarimala should take action against the MLAs and MLCs who try to stop the governor from exiting. However, on the other hand, Congress has said that governor reading out parts of the speech that he has written himself and not reading out the speech prepared by the government is an insult to the House, and he should seek apology. And also they're mulling over if they should approach the Supreme Court over this. They've also said that he has not performed his duty, and he has done by reading out parts of the speech that he has written. He has done he has gone against the constitutional duty that he had to perform today. So that is what we're getting to know as of now. On Jan 28, the Congress is holding a discussion. It remains to be seen what steps they take.
Right, Afreen, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front and putting that in perspective. We'll, of course, keep a track of what transpires in the state of Karnataka and much more here on this edition of Nation at 5. But for now, it's time for a quick break.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The latest that we're getting for you right now, sources have told CNN News 18 that a major diplomatic and security development is unfolding today on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos. According to top security sources, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir are scheduled to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza emerging as a key focus of these discussions. Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force of Gaza and has accepted participation in President Trump's Gaza Board of Peace. This as per our sources. The next crucial step we're given to understand is going to be finalizing how and when Pakistan could join the International Stabilization Force, including the terms of a reference, troop deployment, timelines, operational coordination mechanisms. So this is the latest that we're getting on the diplomatic front on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. We are expecting a meeting between Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir, who are expected to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza being the key focus of discussions. From what we do know so far, Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force for Gaza. For more on this, we have Anand Narasimhan live with us. Good morning, Anand. Thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. Of course, we're given to understand that we could see on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum a meeting between Shehbaz Sharif and, of course, Donald Trump. What are you expecting from this?
Good morning to our viewers and morning him. It is what the Pakistanis are going to beg and plead and try and extract out of Trump that is going to be important to watch because they want to be part of that Gaza Board of Peace, because they want to be considered as an important nation in the Muslim world, despite their penury, despite their lawlessness, and despite their open support to terror regimes. But the other thing is, and ironical though, that a nation that's gone about 8 to 10 times to the IMF to bail itself out for multiple bailouts, saying that they have no money to run their own economy. They still have about $3 billion which have been parked by the Saudis there in their country with them, just so that they have some reserves to show. Is going to now come up $1 billion to be part of a Gaza Board of Peace. Where are they going to get that money? So clearly they're going to ask Trump to help. They're going to try and ask Trump for a leeway or some economic assistance or somehow to try and wiggle out some deal from Trump. On the other hand, Pakistan officially does not recognize Israel. So how are they going to send soldiers and people boots on ground on Gaza? How are they going to get any chain of command? Because any decision has to be ratified by the Pakistan parliament. This is not a decision that Asim Munir can commit to and take on a whim. He will have to come back and get a clearance from parliament. And at that time, how are they going to explain to the radical mullahs, these very terror regimes that are raining venom again and vitriol against America day in and day out, that, oh, the military is shaking hands with the Americans and is going down there in Gaza to try and perhaps train the guns against hostile Hamas in the near future. So these are, and well, when they don't recognize Israel, how are they going to get their passport stamped? And on what basis? So these are all questions which the Pakistanis now have to encounter, but they are desperate. They're desperate because if the rest of the Muslim countries, about 7, 8 of them have already shown interest to be part of the Gaza Board of Peace, join ranks, then how is Pakistan going to be left out? Pakistan is the only nuclear nation in that region outside of Iran, and Iran's nuclear capabilities officially have not been weaponized. So, barring Iran, if the Saudis, UAE, and some of the other countries, Egypt and some of the others, into this Gaza Board of Peace, and Pakistan is out, then it's huge embarrassment for it. Turkey is also part of it. So clearly the Pakistanis wanting to try and continue to stake claim and relevance in the Muslim world want to be part of this, but they have a tricky situation to dodge, and how are they going to do it? We'll have to wait and watch. But when they commit to being part of the ISF, that means they are willing to train their guns on the Palestinians and on the Hamas, the very people whom they have openly voiced support for.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The latest that we're getting for you right now, sources have told CNN News 18 that a major diplomatic and security development is unfolding today on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos. According to top security sources, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir are scheduled to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza emerging as a key focus of these discussions. Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force of Gaza and has accepted participation in President Trump's Gaza Board of Peace. This as per our sources. The next crucial step we're given to understand is going to be finalizing how and when Pakistan could join the International Stabilization Force, including the terms of a reference, troop deployment, timelines, operational coordination mechanisms. So this is the latest that we're getting on the diplomatic front on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. We are expecting a meeting between Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir, who are expected to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza being the key focus of discussions. From what we do know so far, Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force for Gaza. For more on this, we have Anand Narasimhan live with us. Good morning, Anand. Thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. Of course, we're given to understand that we could see on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum a meeting between Shehbaz Sharif and, of course, Donald Trump. What are you expecting from this?
Good morning to our viewers and morning, Him. It is what the Pakistanis are going to beg and plead and try and extract out of Trump that is going to be important to watch because they want to be part of that Gaza Board of Peace, because they want to be considered as an important nation in the Muslim world, despite their penury, despite their lawlessness, and despite their open support to terror regimes. But the other thing is, and ironical though, that a nation that's gone about 8 to 10 times to the IMF to bail itself out for multiple bailouts, saying that they have no money to run their own economy. They still have about $3 billion which have been parked by the Saudis there in their country.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nation at 5. We have some breaking information that's now trickling in about ongoing discussions in New Delhi over the evolving Gaza peace process. Sources are telling CNN News 18 that India is carefully charting a pragmatic middle path, choosing realism over haste. This comes at a time when Donald Trump, just on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, has formally signed that Board of Peace for Gaza. We saw that announcement take place just a short while ago in Davos. India, meanwhile, is choosing to tread carefully as far as accepting or rejecting Donald Trump's invite for the Board of Peace is concerned. Government officials are emphasizing that India has historically participated in peacekeeping efforts only under the framework of a United Nations Charter and not otherwise. Akanksha, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Akanksha, what more can you tell us? What is it that India is choosing to do or not do at this point?
Right. Poonam, in inputs that have been shared by Security Affairs Editor Mr. Manoj Gupta, what we are being told is that so far India's peacekeeping efforts, whether it is to do with Gaza or any conflict-ridden zone, have been under the framework of the UNSC. And even though while announcing this Board of Peace, the US President Donald Trump has referred to the UNSC Charter Resolution 2803, the fact of the matter remains that this is a Board of Peace which is now going to also be challenging the multilateral system or framework, especially when it comes to ensuring a peaceful resolution to global conflicts. So India is being very guarded and pragmatic in its response. It's rather being realistic, because remember, the other aspect to this Board of Peace is also about how this is a more long-lasting solution when it comes to addressing global conflicts. So you never know, when Donald Trump talks about mediating 8 wars, could the focus also shift beyond Gaza, because it's been made amply clear in that invitation that had been marked by the White House to Prime Minister Modi that this is not just going to be a Board of Peace which will be Gaza specific. They will look towards coming up with a peaceful resolution to conflicts in the future for the generations to come. So having said that, Prime Minister Modi has already extended his congratulations to the US President as well as the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who has now announced that he will be part of that Board of Peace. We speak at a time when the US President himself has made that speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where he's not just spoken about this Board of Peace and how he will ensure that Hamas releases the body of those deceased hostages, but he's also talked about his own, for what he calls, foreign policy achievements at Davos. So we'll have to see how India moves forward. For now, what we can tell you is that India is right now very closely calibrating its approach, especially when it comes to joining this Board of Peace. It certainly is going to think, because remember, there's also this charter proposal which is asking for $1 billion of investment when it comes to, say, permanent membership. But having said that, countries like Canada are also willing to join the Board of Peace on a 3-year tenure. So will India be, in fact, providing greater stability? Will India ensure? But also adding to it is the presence of Pakistan. There's much unease with regards to the Pakistani presence, Poonam.
Right, do stay on with us, Akanksha, because we're talking about this Gaza Board of Peace. But there is more information that's now trickling in that we're learning that there is a major political backlash in Pakistan over this, which is pushing the Shahbaz Sharif government into fresh trouble. Top religious clerics in Pakistan have strongly rejected this initiative by Donald Trump. This even at a time when we saw Shahbaz Sharif, the Pakistani Prime Minister, share the podium with Donald Trump just a short while ago in Davos, formally being a part of this Board of Peace in Gaza, for Gaza. These clerics in Pakistan are now allegedly objecting to the inclusion of the Israeli Prime Minister as part of this particular board. Akanksha continues to be with us, getting us more details. Akanksha, what is this pressure that Shahbaz Sharif seems to be facing from within?
So it's of course going to foment more trouble for Pakistan, because Pakistan so far has always been boasting about how it stands up for Muslim Brotherhood and has been very vocal about protecting Muslims. So we've seen a very strategic silence being maintained by Pakistan when it came to the issue of Iran, and now there's going to be more trouble because this Board of Peace, as we all know, is going to include Israel, and the Israeli Prime Minister is going to be very much presiding over the reconstruction plan of Gaza, and that seems to have become that bone of contention. And in inputs that have been shared by Manoj Gupta, Security Affairs Editor, what we are being told is that the presence of Israel is now posing that major roadblock, and with Fazlur Rahman now raking up this entire issue, the opposition is certainly going to capitalize on that momentum, because they are also referring to the Israeli Prime Minister as a war criminal, because remember, there's an ICC arrest warrant also issued against him, and that is a moot point of attack now for Fazlur Rahman, who's now also talking about the hypocrisy of not just Shahbaz Sharif, but also when it comes to Asim Munir. He says, also regretted the 27th Amendment and the changes that have been made to the polity of Pakistan using that 27th Amendment. Poonam.
Right, Akanksha, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. We will keep a track of what's transpiring there. But for now, shifting focus from the battlefields to the parade ground, the Assam Regiment stands tall once again. One of the oldest and most decorated infantry regiments of the Indian Army, its proud legacy at the Republic Day will continue this year as well. It is going to be a first ever mixed scouts contingent. 144 troops drawn from 6 high-altitude units, Arunachal, Sikkim, Ladakh, Garhwal, Dogra and Kumaon scouts. They are going to be marching together this Republic Day. Take a look at this report.
Is Assam Regiment, in fact, that is very much in line with the sort of practice schedule we have, and in fact on the occasion of Republic Day we are going to see in fact these troops marching with all other in fact contingents of Indian Army. In fact, this time around it is going to be a battle phased array formation, where each troop, in fact the live commentary would be there, and it will be in a synchronized way, a different sort of style, a unique style that we are going to see. Captain Aryan, first of all, tell me how significant it is, specifically when we talk about the Assam Regiment. They say that it is one of the most decorated regiment. If you can talk to us about Assam Regiment, the sort of soldiers you have in the regiment, and how significant it is for you people.
Assam Regiment itself is a very decorated regiment, as you said, because the thing is, the people from Assam Regiment are not from Assam, but from all parts of Northeast, from the Seven Sisters. Also, the most important part of Assam Regiment is that we hold a unique legacy of winning the RD parade. We have been practicing since September, and practice schedule was from morning 7 o'clock till 12, and again in the evening and afternoon we used to practice. And our troop consists of their total troop composition is 144 with 2 officers and 4 JCOs. So this is the total composition of our troop.
Okay. Captain Gaurav, if you can tell me, is it for the first time that you are taking part in the RD parade?
Yeah, this is my first time.
This is your first time? how it feels. If you can, just describe the experience.
Since I have joined the academy, since I was in academy in India and IMA, the routine was mostly same. Like we used to wake up early only, and the excitement for the POP was always there. Like parades, it's a ceremonial parade. The excitement is always there, and same is for the RD parade. And as such, it is a national event. So we'll be putting our best foot forward, and we are sure that we'll be winning this.
Well, on that note, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. But do stay tuned. News and updates will continue here.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The latest that we're getting for you right now, sources have told CNN News 18 that a major diplomatic and security development is unfolding today on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos. According to top security sources, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir are scheduled to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza emerging as a key focus of these discussions. Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force of Gaza and has accepted participation in President Trump's Gaza Board of Peace. This as per our sources. The next crucial step we're given to understand is going to be finalizing how and when Pakistan could join the International Stabilization Force, including the terms of a reference, troop deployment, timelines, operational coordination mechanisms. So this is the latest that we're getting on the diplomatic front on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. We are expecting a meeting between Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Gaza being the key focus of discussions. From what we do know so far, Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force for Gaza. For more on this, we have Anand Narasimhan live with us. Good morning, Anand. Thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. Of course, we're given to understand that we could see on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum a meeting between Shehbaz Sharif and, of course, Donald Trump. What are you expecting from this?
Good morning to our viewers and morning, Him. It is what the Pakistanis are going to beg and plead and try and extract out of Trump that is going to be important to watch because they want to be part of that Gaza Board of Peace, because they want to be considered as an important nation in the Muslim world, despite their penury, despite their lawlessness, and despite their open support to terror regimes. But the other thing is, and ironical though, that a nation that's gone about 8 to 10 times to the IMF to bail itself out for multiple bailouts, saying that they have no money to run their own economy. They still have about $3 billion which have been parked by the Saudis there in their country with them, just so that they have some reserves to show. Is going to now come up $1 billion to be part of a board of peace. Where are they going to get that money? So clearly they're going to ask Trump to help. They're going to try and ask Trump for a leeway or some economic assistance or somehow to try and wiggle out some deal from Trump. On the other hand, Pakistan officially does not recognize Israel. So how are they going to send soldiers and people boots on ground on Gaza? How are they going to get any chain of command? Because any decision has to be ratified by the Pakistan parliament. This is not a decision that Asim Munir can commit to and take on a whim. He will have to come back and get a clearance from parliament. And at that time, how are they going to explain to the radical mullahs, these very terrorist regimes that are raining venom again and vitriol against America day in and day out, that, oh, the military is shaking hands with the Americans and is going down there in Gaza to try and perhaps train the guns against hostile Hamas in the near future. So these are, and well, when they don't recognize Israel, how are they going to get their passport stamped? And on what basis? So these are all questions which the Pakistanis now have to encounter, but they are desperate. They're desperate because if the rest of the Muslim countries, about 7, 8 of them have already shown interest to be part of the Gaza Board of Peace, join ranks, then how is Pakistan going to be left out? Pakistan is the only nuclear nation in that region outside of Iran, and Iran's nuclear capabilities officially have not been weaponized. So, barring Iran, if the Saudis, UAE, and some of the other countries, Egypt and some of the others, into this Gaza Board of Peace, and Pakistan is out, then it's huge embarrassment for it. Turkey is also part of it. So clearly the Pakistanis wanting to try and continue to stake claim and relevance in the Muslim world want to be part of this, but they have a tricky situation to dodge, and how are they going to do it? We'll have to wait and watch. But when they commit to being part of the ISF, that means they are willing to train their guns on the Palestinians and on the Hamas, the very people whom they have openly voiced support for.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The latest that we're getting for you right now, sources have told CNN News 18 that a major diplomatic and security development is unfolding today on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos. According to top security sources, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir are scheduled to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza emerging as a key focus of these discussions. Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force of Gaza and has accepted participation in President Trump's Gaza Board of Peace. This as per our sources. The next crucial step we're given to understand is going to be finalizing how and when Pakistan could join the International Stabilization Force, including the terms of a reference, troop deployment, timelines, operational coordination mechanisms. So this is the latest that we're getting on the diplomatic front on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum. We are expecting a meeting between Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir, who are expected to meet US President Donald Trump, with Gaza being the key focus of discussions. From what we do know so far, Pakistan has partially agreed to join the proposed International Stabilization Force for Gaza. For more on this, we have Anand Narasimhan live with us. Good morning, Anand. Thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. Of course, we're given to understand that we could see on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum a meeting between Shehbaz Sharif and, of course, Donald Trump. What are you expecting from this?
Good morning to our viewers and morning him. It is what the Pakistanis are going to beg and plead and try and extract out of Trump that is going to be important to watch, because they want to be part of that Gaza Board of Peace, because they want to be considered as an important nation in the Muslim world, despite their penury, despite their lawlessness, and despite their open support to terror regimes. But the other thing is, and ironical though, that a nation that's gone about 8 to 10 times to the IMF to bail itself out for multiple bailouts, saying that they have no money to run their own economy. They still have about $3 billion which have been parked by the Saudis there in their country with them, just so that they have some reserves.
Welcome back to Nation at 5. Veteran NASA astronaut Sunita Williams has retired after a remarkable 27-year career, marking the end of an extraordinary journey in space exploration. Her retirement took effect on December 27th. She has spent a cumulative 608 days in space, the second highest by any NASA astronaut. She is currently visiting India, and CNN News 18 got a chance to catch up with Sunita Williams. Listen in to that exclusive conversation.
Today we have a very special guest with us, astronaut Sunita Williams. Welcome, ma'am. So,
thank you.
How does it feel to be back in India, and how is Kerala?
Yeah, it's great to be back in India. I've been looking forward to coming here to see people for a long time. I was a little bit occupied with a couple other things going on, both on the planet and off the planet, getting ready for my last flight. So unfortunately, I haven't been here for a number of years. So it was great to be able to come back. I was pretty excited. And Kerala is one of the places my father had talked about quite a bit, so I was really excited to be able to actually see Kerala for myself and experience, of course, the wonderful food that's here and the wonderful people.
So this is your first visit, and food is something which is that has stuck out for you in Kerala.
Of course, yes, of course. I haven't experienced everything yet, but I had a little taste of it when I was at a literary book festival in Sharjah in UAE, and some of the same people, same players were there, and I went to a restaurant there that was incredible. So I was excited to know that this is the birth of it, and I'm coming back here.
And what's your favorite so far that you have tasted?
Oh, I don't know. The little peppers that are in yogurt, I had those for the first time today. Those are pretty hot, but they're pretty awesome. But I know there's more to be had. I've just got here last night, and I've been at the hotel, but I know there's other places in town that I need to check out. And then by the end of the week, I'll have a favorite.
going to your last mission, started off for 8 days, went on for 9 months. How was its situation at that time, and how did you cope with it, both mentally and physically?
Yeah, so, me and the gentleman that I flew with, Butch Wilmore, both of us like to work out. So we had planned from the very beginning, as soon as we got there, we were going to start working out. And I'm really glad we did that, and under the anticipation of, we'd just be home pretty quickly, but we just wanted to, that's part of both of our routines. It set us up for a longer routine just to make sure that we were physically okay up there for 9 months. And I think that was that's always one of the best parts of the day, when you have the opportunity to get on the treadmill and get on the bike or lift weights, as we do every single day, to maintain our bone density and muscle mass. But it's just a nice time to actually have a little bit of a mental break of things that are going on. Obviously, needed a mental break. There was a lot going on last summer. The figuring out whether or not we were coming or going, that took a little while. We knew we were going to be up there longer than 8 days, pretty much as soon as the second day started, and we started having a little bit of problems. We knew those were problems that needed to be solved. We didn't know exactly how they were going to be solved or how they could be solved, and so that was the process over the summer. And it was fun at first, obviously, because I love being in space. That was great. But then, I wouldn't say indecision, but the decision-making process is very intricate. A lot of people have to understand the problem. A lot of people have to then understand the solution and whether or not that could happen or not. And as that process was playing out, of course, we're dragging along all of our family as well. And so just keeping them in the loop. We all had plans to come back and go on vacations or do things with Butch's kids or my mom, who's getting older. And so all of that sort of started weighing on, I think, both of us. I was actually relieved when the decision was made, and my family and friends were all super supportive. Made the phone call. I was a little bit nervous about it, like, okay, I think we're not coming back for another 6 months. They're like, okay, have a good time. Just, come back on a safe spacecraft and keep us informed. On my previous flights, I had written a journal like every week, so updated people on what's going on, and I was missing that I wasn't going to be able to do it this time, but obviously I got to be able to do that.
At any point, did you feel helpless there?
Not necessarily helpless, because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are working on solutions. This problem is much bigger than ourselves. The whole space station program is much bigger than just me and Butch. We just happen to be the ones who are on that spacecraft in this time. So, how all of those spacecraft, as they're coming and going, interplay into the International Space Station's roles and responsibilities to our international partners, that's huge, right? So that's a lot of dedication by so many people, a lot of money, obviously, too. So we want to make sure all of that is being upheld. We knew that we were along for the ride with all of this, and we would be fine.
You had said that once you went there to the International Space Station, first thing was to look for home, basically India and Slovenia, the homeland of your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So how did seeing Earth from space shape or reshape your relations back home with your family? How was it?
Well, I think the best thing to do is share it, and to share it in such a way that people understand. One of the concepts I mentioned earlier today was like, this is a planet, 71% of it's water. We only occupy the little 28 point something whatever percent that's left as people, and some of that is pretty harsh environments to live in. And it's sort of surprising to me that, where we live in an area around the equator, we all can't just sort of get along. And so having, the experience to not only see where people come from, but then picture all of the people and friends and family that I know down there, but then also thinking about globally about the rest of the population on the planet, and how my experience is very unique, and I'd like to share that with people so everyone could sit back for just a second and think about their role on this planet and how we should get along together.
India is preparing for its Gaganyaan mission. How are you seeing India's space missions?
Yeah, I think everything is up and coming. I'm so happy for the things that have happened just recently. The Axiom 4, Captain Shukla was the pilot on that mission, so awesome. Our partnerships with the Indian Space Agency for sensors and spacecraft, getting ready to go back to the moon, that's awesome. So I think the Indian space program, the imagination is the limits, right? So whatever they want to do, it's great. I'll be happy. I'll be cheering them along. I think partnerships with other agencies agencies is just incredible. It allows us to do things that we never thought we could do on our own. So that's also part of all of this as well. And I hope the United States and India's space programs will work together.
So we see that India is expanding, there is expansion on the space program. So on an international level, are you seeing collaboration, especially between NASA and ISRO in the future? How do you think about it?
Oh, absolutely. We have 5 major agencies that contributed to the International Space Station as we were doing the all the agreements and then in the building of the space station. But we've had other people from other countries be part of the International Space Station. So I see that as an opening door for as many other nations as possible that want to be involved in this joint cooperation and exploration. I think it's really important. It goes right back to the concept that we just talked about. Like, this is one planet and we all come from here. So as we leave low Earth orbit and go farther on and explore our solar system, it seems right that we go as human beings. And just having everybody join in would be awesome.
Do you have plans to go to the moon?
I would love to go to the moon, but I think I'm passing that on to the next generation of astronauts who hopefully I've mentored a little bit and maybe gave them some good ideas, not too many bad ideas, and I'm excited for them to do that.
We have heard that you love samosas, and then you have even taken a Ganesha when you went to the space station. What does it mean to you?
Oh, these little artifacts from India, and including food, and artifacts from Slovenia, including food, have gone to space with me. I'm just sort of a representation of where I came from and what defines me, my parents and their cultures. I think you can't get away from that. And I don't want to, because I think that enriches the whole experience, and to share the space station, space exploration with those cultures was really meaningful and important to me.
What's your post-retirement plans? Will we be seeing you more in India?
That would be great. I hope so. Now time is on my schedule a little bit more. I get to decide where I'm going. Not that it was it was great being a NASA astronaut and doing the projects that I was assigned to do. I loved it, but now I have a little bit more free time to spend with family and friends, and that means coming to places like India and Slovenia.
Any plans to collaborate with the space programs here in India?
Not yet. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
You have been inspiring a lot of young students, young scientists. Any word of advice to them, especially to young girls?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many opportunities out there. Don't hesitate. Go for it. Just do it. And, part of it is I'm here at the Literary Festival in Kerala. Reading and understanding different concepts in different perspective from different people and ideas is all put together in doing research, and that's what reading is all about. So I love it, and that's something that all girls and boys should be doing.
9 spacewalks. Can you tell us which one was most memorable for you?
Probably the first of everything is most memorable, but my second to last one was pretty intense, just because my head was very close doing an operation next to our spacecraft that was bringing us home. And as we were waiting for that spacecraft to get there, that pristine spacecraft, I didn't want to be the one that wrecked it. So I was very conscientious of where it was. And then finally, my last spacewalk, which I mentioned a number of times, space exploration and spacecraft and rockets and science experiments seems very complicated. But sometimes the easiest solution is something very simple. We had to take a box off of a platform, and we ended up using a couple crowbars. So sometimes the simple instrument is the tool you need.
Many of us, including me, heard your name first in general knowledge books while we were preparing for competitive exams, I should say. So this interview today is truly special. Thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. A fresh political storm has erupted in Kerala after a top leader of Jamaat-e-Islami Hind's Kerala chapter put out a post that endorsed the idea of an Islamic Republic. Given that this is an Indian outfit, the import of the post is clearly that Muslims will eventually have the aim of establishing an Islamic Republic even in India. What followed was swift and sharp. Both the CPM and the BJP, rivals on most days, today found common ground in attacking the Congress party, their charge possibly warranted. The Congress, in its desperation to counter the left and the BJP in the state, is now aligning with radicals. While the Congress, for its part, continues to deny any formal alliance, can the party really claim plausible deniability when its leaders share stages, accept support and remain silent when controversial positions are aired, especially in context of the state politics? The question arises, are secular parties in India only secular when it comes to majoritarian communalism? Do they fall